Hello everyone, my name is Ashpal. In this video, I'm going to give you the background of the CATO SASE platform and also going to give you the complete explanation about the CATO SASE architecture. So just to give you the background about the CATO, CATO is a company founded by the Shlomo Kramer in 2015. Um, he is the same person who was also the co-founder of the Checkpoint at Imperva. These are some numbers in terms of where exactly the CATO stand today, in terms of the valuation, in terms of the number of employee we have. Uh, as of today, CATO has 85 plus POP across the globe. One of the differentiator of the CATO POPs is every POP is the full compute POP. That means every service which CATO deliver happens from the same POP. That means is CATO is not basically differentiating in terms of differentiating the POPs in terms of processing the traffic. For example, be it is traffic going for the private access, be it as the traffic going for the private access, or maybe in terms of doing the inspection, it is only the one time we do the decryption, do the enforcement, so that the end customer gets the advantage from the performance and speed perspective. And then if you look at from the customer perspective, as of now, CATO have more than 3,500 customers across the globe. More than 50,000 sites and the cloud locations are connecting to the CATO SASE platform. As of date, more than 1.5 million users, the remote ZTNA users being served from the CATO SASE platform. And then using this 85 plus POPs, we are able to serve 190 plus countries across the globe. Uh, there's very interesting thing which I want to talk about is when the Forrester did a study with the CATO customer, they were able to give this 246% of the ROI number. This is based on the calculation which was made, which includes maybe the cost of the MPLS before and cost of using the CATO after moving to the CATO and using the CATO SD-WAN or maybe the CATO private global private backbone or moving from the CapEx to the OpEx or maybe from the operations perspective, what was the operation overhead or the operation cost before and the CATO, right? So these are the various factors which help customer to gain the ROI over period of time. Now, if you look at from the Gartner perspective, the CATO has recognized as a leader into the SASE platform Magic Quadrant report published by the Gartner in 2025. CATO was also a leader in 2024. One of there are few comments which the Gartner has highlighted about the CATO. One is the planned innovation of the CATO, which is going to shape the market. Uh, and then one of the other things which Gartner also highlighted is the customer experience is above the average, which is really make a lot of difference for the end customer where they really want to have a very good smooth experience for the product they're going to onboard, right? And then CATO also carries the recognition from the Forrester where the CATO is recognized as a leader as well. We also have the recognition from the GigaOM plus the Force as well. One of the things which I really want to talk about from this particular slide is, although if you look at there are other players also recognized as a leader in this particular Magic Quadrant, but the differentiator here, if you look at the SASE has a two component primarily. One is the SSE, one is the SD-WAN. If you look at the CATO is CATO is the player who has not acquired any technology, has not done any acquisition in order to qualify for the single vendor SASE Magic Quadrant, the qualification. But if you look at other players, they are maybe using their portfolio to combine the portfolio, or maybe they have done the acquisition to even qualify for this particular race. So this is the one of the differentiator. Now from the customer perspective, this makes a lot of difference because if the customer is looking to converge their SD-WAN and SSE, because this is a platform which built to which was built from the ground to be an converged platform. But if you look at the other players, they has to basically do the integration with the other technology within their SSE platform, right? So those integration doesn't works well. The objective initially the objective was different, but now you see the objective is different, right? So that's the key differentiator. And then if you look at today, from the business perspective, every business is having certain digital business initiative in order to meet the business objective. For example, the company is going through the merger and acquisitions, or maybe they're expanding globally, or maybe they are allowing their employees to work from home or work from office. In the same time, there are business initiatives in order to move to the cloud, in order to do the cost control, or more maybe there are customers who is moving back from the public cloud to the on-prem environment. And the same time, the whole objective also is to ensure that while these business initiative is being taken care, the cost should be within control, right? Now, in reality, if you look at today, um, what happened is if you need to meet this objective of be it in merger acquisition or expanding globally and having the cloud strategy in place, you really need an architecture which is secure, resilient, agile, global, and optimized. But unfortunately, if you look at today, what has happened is the customer has a requirement. Maybe they had there's a merger and acquisition happened. They actually acquired a company, and now in order to extend the connectivity from the parent company to the child company, their separate firewall has been taken. That means now you need someone to manage this firewall. You need someone to do the audit of this firewall. You need someone to basically do the vulnerability assessment of these firewall, right? Now, similarly, there is an objective to have the to replace the MPLS with the SD-WAN, and then separate SD-WAN product was purchased. That means now you need an expert who knows the SD-WAN, and you also need an expert who knows the firewall. Not just that, in order to manage the internet security, the cloud proxy solution has been bought. Similarly, the separate product for the CASB or maybe the remote access VPN has been bought. That means you need multiple expertise to manage the multiple technologies. You need to ensure that all of these technologies are configured properly. There should not be misconfiguration. One misconfiguration can lead to a cyber attack. Okay. Now, this up to a level, this was able to meet certain objective of the customer, but in reality, this has created a different problem, which is the complexity, which is what the enemy of the availability, security, and agility, and this is called out by the Gartner. Now, how to solve this problem of the complexity, right? Now, in order to solve this problem of the complexity, okay, let's look at this before we get into that. Let's look at the today's architecture of the customer. When I'm going and talking to the customer, this is what I see into the reality. Customer has bought the proxy in order to address their internet security requirement. That means from the users and from the office, when the users are accessing the internet or maybe the SaaS application, there is a proxy, cloud proxy in place. And maybe for the remote access, there are basically the different product in place, or maybe if it is same product, there's a separate configuration. And maybe from the security enforcement perspective, the different security policies have been configured because this is serving the different purpose, and this is for the different purpose, but the security policies is different because the focus was the different, right? But now what I means is you need to have the two people to manage these two different technologies, right? And then you still have the other protocols to handle. What it means is, let's say you have the IoT devices, or maybe in your organization you have the voice traffic. You still need the next generation firewall in order to meet the other use cases within the organization, right? And then maybe you also have the while the SSE is being taken care, or maybe the ZTNA is taken care. There are the traffic like the voice traffic. There are applications sitting onto the laptop. They are just being bypassed from the endpoint devices or maybe from the offices, right? So this creates this architecture is create the complexity into the environment. And if you look at overall, this is a fragmented approach. That means there are multiple security architecture you have in place. You need to ensure that all of these is configured properly, and there is no consistent policy across. You have the different policies. The visibility what you get it here, the same visibility is you are not getting here, right? And this is not optimized architecture for the global connectivity perspective. Now, to solve this complexity, uh, what is the solution? The Gartner says that the future is going to be the SASE. The 60% of the 60% the purchase of the future is going to be considering that the SASE architecture. Now, SASE solves the problem of this complexity where it is converging the multiple technology into one be it is from SAC perspective. That means there are SAC controls and there are the network control. You combine into the one converged platform, and to make it simplify and make it very easy for the customer to consume, right? This is what exactly the CATO has done. CATO has converged multiple point product solution into one platform, and the whole idea is to make it very effortless, so that whatever the business objective you have, you should be able to meet using the one platform, regardless of any sort of the business requirement is coming in. How does it works? So to simplify, one platform which allow you to connect the different edges. What is the edge? Edge means you have the different locations. Let's say you have the headquarter or data center where your application is sitting, or maybe your users are sitting. You have the branch locations, maybe the stores or the retail offices, or the retail branches, maybe the cloud locations, or maybe the remote access VPNs, the mobile users working from home. So we allow you to connect all of these edges into the one platform, and then we allow you to create single security policies in order to do the enforcement regardless of the traffic is coming from the any edge, and then one single pane of glass management in order to address all of your network security requirement from the one platform. So this is the list of the POP which we have today. 85 plus POP across the globe. As I say into the beginning, every POP was a full compute POP of the CATO. We are not hosting CATO POPs onto the public cloud environment because we do not want to get limited by the limitation of the public cloud vendors. We have our own POP managed by the CATO itself. So now let's look at the CATO architecture in detail. Now the first thing, as I say into the beginning, there is, if you look at from the platform perspectives, the SASE has a two component. One is the SSE, one is the SD-WAN. So the first things which is very different here in CATO is CATO has created something called the global private backbone, right? This is the USP of the CATO. And these rings, what you see is nothing but the CATO POP, like 85 plus POPs I talked about. So the whole idea of making this global private backbone is to make the internet reliable. Why we had to do it? Today, if you look at more than 60% application is a SaaS application, which is all our business application. So that means we have more dependency on internet, be it is when you are using when you are doing the business meeting like the Teams, or maybe the Zoom, or maybe there is Salesforce application, maybe your SaaS based SAP or ERP applications, right? So those are the internet based applications, the SaaS application. That means you need a reliable internet. So the whole idea of making this global private backbone is to make the internet reliable. How do we do it? When we deploy this POP, we take the best of the best ISP connection within the country, and then we manage the global routing. This platform has an intelligence to choose the best route, in order best path in order to route the traffic to the SaaS application. So in any of the path, if there is a packet loss is happening, maybe the jitter is high, it will choose the best of the best path to route your traffic. Not just that, these CATO POP are paired with the public cloud vendors and also the SaaS, the majority of the SaaS applications. So that means the latency to those SaaS application and the public cloud platform is very less when you go via the CATO SASE platform. Now within the POP, there are the two part of the engine. So the CATO has its software stack called the Space Single Pass Cloud Engine. The first part of this engine is the processing of the traffic. That means traffic is coming from the any edge. That means traffic is coming from the branch, from the mobile device, or maybe from the data center. We process the traffic from the any edge. We are not a proxy architecture. CATO processes any port and any protocol. What it means is, even it is a voice traffic, we do not want our customer to locally bypass any traffic. We do not want we want customer to get a visibility of entire traffic, be it is coming from the user laptop, or maybe it is coming from the branch. And then digital experience monitoring, which does the monitoring of the endpoint device, to the monitoring of to the application hop by hop basis. Acceleration and optimization, which is inbuilt within the platform itself, which is part of the engine. Uh, this does the multiple. It uses the multiple technology like the TCP optimization, TCP proxy, in order to do the TCP optimizations of your application. And then from the security perspective, if you look at these are the SSE control, be it is firewall as a service, be it is secure web gateway, IPS, DNS, next generation anti-malware, sandbox for the 0-day, ZTNA, CASB, DLP, remote browser isolation, IoT, OT. It is all, everything is part of the one platform. And then if you look at from the, as I said in the beginning, the SASE is a two-part. One is SD-WAN, one is SSE. I'm going to talk about first about the SD-WAN. So CATO has not acquired anything to become a SASE leader. These are CATO own hardware. Now, one of the differentiator here is these hardware, which is the intelligent SD-WAN device, is being offered to the customer as a service. That means there is no capex. Not just that, when it is being offered as a service, customer do not need to worry about the upgrades. Customer do not need to worry about the vulnerabilities. CATO is going to take care of all of those problems. That simplifies the customer's operations, right? Now, this SD-WAN device does the last mile optimization. When you terminate the multiple ISP, it is going to create outbound DTLS tunnel to the nearby POP. And it's going to choose the best of the best path based on the jitter latency in order to route the traffic from the CATO SD-WAN to the nearby POP. It also has the capability to do the quality of service in order to prioritize your business application. Not just that, these boxes also have the NGFW capability. That means if you have the multiple VLANs within the same branch and you want to do the east-west segmentation, you can create the application layer policies within the box itself. And then the platform also support the detection of the IoT devices, and also you can control the traffic from the IoT devices to the internet, so that you can prevent the lateral movement or any compromise happens from the IoT devices, which is most vulnerable part into the network. Now the second part of it is once you deploy this hardware onto the branch, you can also deploy the another one into the data center. That means now you have the two path to basically go to the internet. One is from one is going from the CATO socket to the nearby POP using the this reliable connectivity of the global backbone going to the POP and then reaching to the data center, right? And then you get the advantage of the security and the WAN optimization, right? Not just that, these boxes also support the layer 2, layer 3 extension of MPLS. We can coexist with the MPLS. There are certain applications that you still want to route via MPLS. You can do that using the off-tunnel capabilities which you have. It is box to box. And then the second part of the solution is the CATO client. So the CATO client is for the is the TNA client. So let's say when the user is sitting in office, in that case, this CATO client is going to do the job of the TNA. It is going to do the posture check for the endpoint. Let's say this is a desktop device or maybe the laptop device. So all the access from the user to the application is going to be based on the ZTNA principle. Now the same users comes to the home and then he turns on his laptop. The always on policy will ensure that user is always connected to nearby POP. We can also ensure that user should not be able to temper the client by mean of playing with the process, disabling the process. So this client can be temper protection. And then the moment he turns on the laptop, it connects to the nearby POP. And then tomorrow, if you are migrating your application from your physical data center to the public cloud data center, you can extend your connectivity from the CATO POP to the public cloud vendors. Now, advantage here is the latency is going to be very less when you are extending your connectivity from the CATO POP to the public cloud vendor, because CATO has the ISP peering with all of these public cloud vendors, right? There are multiple ways to connect to these public cloud vendor. Be it is you can set up the IPsec connectivity from the CATO POP. If you want, you can also use the cloud interconnect. If it is possible, it is available into the region. This is nothing but an layer 2 connectivity extending from the CATO POP to your public cloud tenant, or maybe you can also install the CATO virtual socket. You can just go to the marketplace, search the virtual socket from the marketplace, and you can launch the CATO AMI. Right. And now this user, without any architecture change, this user will be able to access the application hosted into the AWS and Azure. Second part, now this user is accessing any application which is in SaaS application. He basically requests his packet goes from his laptop to the nearby POP. POP is going to identify the best path in order to reach the SaaS application, and it is going to use the backbone. And then it is going to egress the traffic from the POP, which is sitting very close to the SaaS application. Okay, so this is what we call the smart egress. Now in this case, what is happening is, first of all, in order to reach that SaaS application, CATO is finding the shortest path, also ensuring there is no the packet loss in or maybe the very less packet loss, lesser latency in order to reach the SaaS application, and then egressing the SaaS application from the POP, which is sitting near to the SaaS application. Okay. And then if we talk about the analytics, because the CATO now has the visibility of, okay, one more piece before I get into the analytics. Um, the way the platform has built is, it is very well coexist with your existing technologies. Like say today you instead of using the CATO SD-WAN, if you're already put an capex into the third-party SD-WAN device, we can integrate with third-party vendors. Like we can, if instead of this CATO socket you have the other SD-WAN device, we can create an IPsec tunnel with those devices, and you can still use those hardware. Last mile optimization has to be done by the third party vendor, but the security can be offered by the CATO. So this is how basically you can connect, and then from here, if you want, you can deploy the CATO socket, or here also we can even integrate with your existing the firewall vendor by mean of extending the IPsec connectivity. That means it doesn't, even if you want to onboard with the CATO, it does not mean that you only need to basically replace those hardware. We can very well coexist with the existing hardware, and then over a period of time, when you think that okay, those technology is going to end of support, or the refresh or the renewal is coming, you can always have an option to choose to go to the CATO socket. Now similarly, the CATO also offers the EPP and EDR protection. That means you do not need to use the third party EPP and EDR product, right? You can use the CATO EPP and EDR as well. Uh, and then let's say you have the third party devices, or maybe the third party users, where it is not possible on own unmanaged devices to install a client. You can use the clientless version of the you can also use the clientless version, where you can allow your private application to be accessible via the browser, right? Now if we talk about the analytics, CATO is getting the visibility of all the logs when the user is working from home, for all the traffic which is going to the data center, inbound or outbound, and also from the any traffic being processed from the branch. All of these logs we are actually taking into the one data lake. Top of that, we run the anomaly detection in order to find the anomaly into the traffic, be it is from the operation perspective. What it means is, let's say on this particular headquarter branch, which is very crucial, and there is a link flap happens, typically you go and find out the log, right? CATO is going to create the root cause analysis automatically when any abnormal thing happens onto this particular branch, be it is from the connectivity perspective, or be it is also from the security perspective, right? So if there is an malicious activity is happening on the office, or maybe the work from home user, we can identify that and we can correlate automatically. And using that anomaly detections, we create the GenAI stories, and then finally it can take up to the incident response, where you can take the appropriate action. Um, if required, we can also do the auto remediation as well, case to case basis. Now everything is going to manage from the single pane of glass management. Now, in terms of the adoption of this, if you look at it, is not that there are multiple things, multiple technology we talked about here. The CATO platform is built such a way that you can start from anywhere. That means is, let's say today you are having the SD-WAN. or maybe you're just looking for the new branch, which is a new branch which has to be SD-WAN ready. You can just start your one branch, very well coexist with your existing SD-WAN. That means you do not need to basically buy the as CATO SD-WAN for all the branches in one go. You can just start with the one branch, and then you can send all the traffic from that particular branch to the CATO cloud, and then we can go very well integrate with your data center side of the SD-WAN device or maybe the firewall. And maybe tomorrow we are expanding globally. There's a new global data center coming into the different geography. You can extend the connectivity of your users or the branches using the global private backbone, or maybe you one of your branch, let's say your branch firewall coming from the refresh and renewal. Instead of paying the capex again, you can just use the CATO socket as an OPEX, and all the firewall capabilities you can achieve using the CATO socket. Similarly, if you're moving to the public cloud, or maybe you have the SaaS application, the cloud SaaS application, you're looking to accelerate those applications, you can use the CATO. Or maybe, let's say, for the only for your third parties, you're looking to for only for your third party, or maybe BYD users, you want to allow them the access of the remote access, which is private application. You can only use that particular one. So the licensing, the architecture, everything has designed such a way that it is very easy to adopt the solution, and then eventually within a year or maybe couple of years, you can finally reach to the SASE architecture. This is what I had to show and explain you about the CATO SASE. Thanks for watching.